Hello, wonderful people, and welcome to Paradise City Stories, Mutants and Masterminds actual play here on Weave the Tale. I am Pope, your editor for this evening. Pope World Bill on Twitter, Pope World Bill on Twitch. I work in all your streams. But enough about this silly face. Let's get to our heroes and the amazing cast playing them. First up, Alicia. How you doing, my friend?
Hello, I'm doing all right. It's a great day to be a superhero. Call it Superhero Sunday. I am Alicia, or Energy98 on Twitter, and I'll be playing Jettica Jones, who was not very happy about the Wax King invading this realm. Definitely wasn't her fault, though. Don't check the VOD. Moving on.
By all means, check the VOD. You'll see a number of wonderful people there, like Svev. How you doing, friend?
Hey, I'm doing alright. Not too bad. Excited to be here. I am Zweth, and I play the cybernetically enhanced Overdrive, who is, also freaking out a little bit. Things went down.
Someone who had an inkling about things going down was our very own Mr. Universe, played by Mr. Smith. How you doing?
Hello, I'm Mr. Smith. You can find me at Mr. Smith on the Twitterverse. I play Bastian B. Bucks, otherwise known as Mr. Universe, who is similarly nervous, a bit scared, and yet I would like to point out he was still right about what happened to Miss Jones herself at the Millennium. I want to make sure that is well known, documented,
Yes.
posterity, etc. Thank you.
A day that shall live in infamy. Someone not quite so infamous, maybe more famous, is Titanica, played by Molly. How you doing, friend?
I'm doing quite well. My name's Molly, and I'm playing the gigantic but not Jotun Titanica.
Speaking of giant-sized problems, we left our friends in a bit of a pickle in the previous issue 302 of Paradise City Stories, where the investigations into the robbery of an antiquarian bookstore, the attempted robbery, had led to a number of places, including a former supervillain and a den of iniquity, fae, all sorts of strange things, but nothing quite as strange as what abducted one of their teammates, Lawin. In a moment, just a flash, he was snatched up from their presence in their own base and taken to some place far different than what our heroes know, and is standing audience with an entity known only as the Wax King. We see a panel as we turn from the cover. Inside, there is a place that is dank, dark, torchlit. We see numerous pipes in different condition, all holding solid. But along the edges, along the seams, wax can be seen dripping, forming all sorts of stalactites and stalagmites in the dark. And as we see figures wandering about, clad in robes that have been left to time, something along the late medieval period would look like if they weren't also dripping with wax. But we pan up from this underground space and have this large Gothic clock tower. And we pan to the face. It's definitely not a clock that you're familiar with. because this one goes to 13. Now, as we turn the page, we find ourselves looking outside the Epic building. An edifice with purple windows, one of the few high-rises in Paradise City. It's evening. Structural lighting highlighting those purple windows. Everything seems just like a normal night until we cut inside of the top floor suite where our heroes have their base. And their numbers have been thinned. What are you all doing?
I'm trying to remember what I had Jettica say last.
So Bastian is just stepping in and out of the communication room where Lawin disappeared into. Just sort of looking at Jettica, going, where did he go? How do we do that?
My best guess is he went to another realm, so we have to figure out. First, we have to figure out how to get. First, we have to figure out which one. Second, we have to figure out how to get there safely. I don't know that. Because I imagine for some of the time, Jettica's. Well, no, she just started remembering the conversation with the Wax King first. So I guess first thing Jettica would do would probably be like, okay, are there any references to any kind of Wax King in the library in Epic first? In our headquarters.
Go ahead and this is if you had like expertise, research, library, anything of that sort. I'll take that.
I have academia and magic.
Let's do a magic roll.
Because those have gone super well for her.
Hey, there's a first time for everything. 19.
No, that's not as bad as usual. There we go. We'll take it.
Yeah. No, we're doing good. We're doing good. No, that not as much as you'd like. There is a reference to an entity known as the Wax King. Classification in your books is one of the things that should not be. The entity is ancient, not necessarily malevolent, but powerful and ambitious. And one that shouldn't be able to do what it just did. There are a number of obtuse references as to where it dwells. Saying that it might be some sort of dream entity, something of the astral realms, a forgotten being of the collective subconscious. But there's nothing within your books that is definitive.
All right, if that's all we have here, Jet's gonna say next stop is, because we had the point was just like, timetable is moved up. I'm just gonna go to that book, go to the, John, I always forget his last name. John, whatever's store.
John Martin. John Martin's.
Every last name but Martin, for some reason. The character has eidetic memory, not me.
Yes. No. I'm just amused. I mean, the guy might as well have occultation, but he does. So, the individual known as John Martin. You head to the address that you know that is the antiquarian bookstore. Um, there is no car parked outside. The parking lot is empty. Near the waterfront. You know this place has some unique security.
Yep.
As it's still late evening. What are you all doing?
Jet at least is doing the equivalent of, at least her equivalent of knocking on the magical wards, as it were. Like, not trying to break moose, just like, I'm gonna poke these till I get an answer from the person who cast them.
Okay.
Yeah, I know, this is not a good idea. Jet's concerned.
This is one of them their magic rolls that we love doing.
Yeah, great. It's fine. It's fine.
16.
I have not rolled above a 10 in so long. I haven't rolled a 10 in so long.
Fair enough. But yeah, you reach out with your magic. You knock upon the wards, and first it's just silence. But then you insist. And the good news is the demons aren't summoned. That's the good news.
That is good news.
The bad news is that something reaches out and just temporarily, a flash, plops you into the most vivid nightmarescape that you have ever visited. A place of labyrinthine darkness, yet you can feel the heat, the humidity, the tinge of copper in the air, and just a feeling of dread primordial. And then you're back.
What is the
Was
look
there
on
any
her
sort of
face?
ruby red visage thing?
No,
Red
no,
lip
not
thing?
this time. No.
Not this time. Okay. And sorry. So was I like mentally transported there or physically?
Mentally. You just like
Mentally.
Mindscape just got intruded upon, and essentially the mystical version of being sprayed by a skunk.
I imagine Jet's eye like twitches briefly.
Everything all right? Are we dead?
No. We are not dead. I want an answer now. Where's Soren Sobek when you need him? I swear.
Bastian will just try and open the door.
Sure. How are you going about this? Just hand on doorknob twisting? How is this happening?
Yeah, basically.
It doesn't budge.
Oh.
It's locked.
I could try and disintegrate the door.
Oh,
I'm just...
oh no.
I will give you all a moment to, because we it has been described that when Bastian prepares to use his powers, a lot of times there is atmospheric displays, and it takes like a moment. So, would anyone like to intervene, or are we just letting this ride?
Yeah, no,
So
just
for what it's worth, pieces of Bastion's outfit begin to sort of pull away from him in those wispy tendrils, as he himself is almost sort of unincorporating or disintegrating in some fashion. This is usually pretty typical of some effect going on. Similarly, like the knot things attached to this building seem to be sort of scuffing off. Like the pavement on the ground is getting a little weaker, that kind of thing. But yes, it's readily visible that he is attempting something probably stupid.
Bastion, just hold on. Let me try something else first.
Are you sure?
Just hold. I'm positive. All right, and you know what? We got hero points. Why don't we use them? I would like to. So the knocking didn't activate, sort of activated the doors, but it was just a mental, go away. I would like to use a hero point to do the equivalent of paging John Martin, but magically.
Okay. I will happily take that hero point. Please describe to me how one goes about magically paging someone. I am intrigued at this concept.
Sure thing. So I imagine what Jet does is she sort of kind of puts both hands against sort of where that magical ward energy where she feels it, sort of, and while pressing against it, kind of with her hands sort of draws draws one line this way, two going up, and two that way, keeping one hand here, and she sort of starts writing runes, basically using the magical energy of the war to key into the person, essentially. So she's going to be writing runes kind of around in the inner edge of that rectangle she's drawn, and then sort of beneath that she's going to press in a couple of different areas as if a runic keyboard, a message of come to bookstore, need answer urgently, WK. And sort of then she slams both hands against it again and grips it to sort of send the message out. So she's holding it, she's not breaking it, but sort of keeping that magical tether until she gets an answer.
So there's a pulse of energy. There is a distinctive smell of sulfur. And we cut to another panel. We're back in Millennium. Different theme this time. It's a new evening. And yeah, no, it's sort of like Western themed, very cowboy. Folks have, well, I shouldn't say folks, I should say entities of all sorts are really enjoying themselves and are playing up the theme. Dance floor is full. There's all sorts of whiskeys and sarsaparillas being slung at the bar. And they're line dancing with, I think that's a demon, and is that a shark man? Is John Martin. Really enjoying himself. And then just gets that look of deep distraction and then frustration. walks over to the bar, bartender this time. Take the classic image of a Tolkien-esque dwarf, but then just stretch him out and make him, 3 feet shorter than Titanica. Broad fellow, got a wonderfully festive cowboy hat. And John just goes, Tolvar, can I borrow the phone? Oh, of course, Jim. Just let me get it. And it's this old red rotary phone that he places in front of John Martin. And you see him ring up, and speaker next to the door all of a sudden comes alive back where our heroes are standing outside the antiquarian bookstore. Hey, I'm kind of in the middle of something right now. Can this wait, please?
No. Please open the door.
I can't do that remotely.
Can't do that word? Sorry. I did not hear.
I can't do that remotely.
Then tell me how to.
We don't have that sort of time. Give me a half hour. Click.
Then, like, releases it. I imagine, like, after, like, she had one hand to, like, well, you said there was a speaker, so never just then releases it.
Well,
someone really ought to update that spell. Pages are so last decade.
Did you just magically page Martin?
Yes.
Pretty awesome. All right, that's fair. Way better than my idea.
I didn't want to have to deal with the demons, so this seemed like the next best choice.
Well, my thought was that if you just fundamentally removed all the matter that the runes were attached to, it wouldn't really matter much, but I'm no magic person, so, your idea was better.
I don't think you remember a Tuesday 1 month ago very well, do you?
Probably not.
You were violently ejected from the library.
Oh, I do remember that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
What?
Physics doesn't
Oh,
belong
that's
next to the fire
right.
summoning section. There we go.
Well, I was just testing out my theory of agitating molecules. There was a fire there. I didn't know that you had just created it to read by. Anyway, I get it. Fair. Touche. It's fine. As usual, you were right.
I'm not
But I was
always
right once.
You were, which is why the city is in danger. But you were correct.
Now, wait a minute.
It's not
Did you
your
just-
fault it was in danger. I'm saying you were correct. And you were correct about something that
correlation-
made it so the city was in danger. It was not your fault,
Mhm.
to be clear.
As this discussion is going on, we see a familiar antique Jag driving along the Paradise City streets, pulling towards the waterfront. But the angle that we're at is not, those angles that you are accustomed to just having a pan. It looks like it's from a very particular perspective. from within the trees, the bushes, alleys, these pictures and panels quick cut along, almost like the pickets in a fence across the page. Till eventually we see the car pull up with our heroes outside the antiquarian bookstore. John getting out. He has doffed his cap somewhere, probably in the car, still dressed in blue jeans, black cowboy boots, fitted t-shirt. So, does this have to do with my case, or is this just one of your superhero problems?
I do believe they're connected in this case. Most specifically, one of our team members was kidnapped by the Wax King, so that needs to get resolved. I don't have the resources at the headquarters.
Which one of you poked the wrong thing? As he fiddles with the door. You don't go mucking about the mad city and its residents without wanting something, or self-destruction. As we cut inside of this antiquarian bookstore, does not match the exterior whatsoever. In here, a lot of cherry wood bookcases, wood paneled walls, floors. Looks like, a fine museum as opposed to some building in an industrial park by a waterfront. As our heroes casually walk inside, the place has a bit of static to the air. Distinctive smell of leather, old text, and ozone. As we cut through stacks of books, John just reaches out and grabs a tome, black, but looks like the stretched flesh of something. Brings it up, flips. And this medieval illustration of a face that we have seen before of the Wax King sitting upon a throne, and a far more detailed entry than we saw Jet's collection. Wax King, part of the Mad City. Who hasn't been sleeping?
Bastian just sort of meekly raises his hand.
Okay. Well, takes days before you find it or they find you. Door opens up. Door that shouldn't be there. That's how you get in. If your friend has been taken by the king, he's in the city. Unless somebody immensely stupid summoned him to our world and has somehow bound him, that's where you'll find the king and your friend. Funny thing is, it's not the king that's the dangerous one, it's everything else. As he turns and goes about putting on a pot of coffee. what's everyone doing?
Did he take the tome with him?
No.
Or did he leave it out and open?
Yes.
So I guess Jet's looking over the over that section, seeing if there's any sort of information any additional information she can glean in that or previous pages.
As you flip through pages, this is nothing that you have ever read. It makes reference to the dimension you know as the city slumbering, and it refers to the Mad City as being a realm of nightmares and the awake. A place that is, it's never stated, but connected to dreams, connected to sleep, connected to consciousness. But the denizens therein are folks who have fallen through and become part of its landscape, as well as nightmares given physical form. A entire city built on dream logic, with, as you flip through the pages, denizens that, if you didn't know better, would almost be comical in their surrealist nature. References to a tax man, a massive, towering figure. You figure it's probably taller than Titanica, that just has a massive tack for a head. Or a reference to Mother Wen and her ladies in Hating. It's nearly like something out of a storybook. Just strange and terrifying. But it's all there. This is definitely something that you and your studies have covered. And by the looks of the book, this is not something people dive into, at least not willingly.
So since it sounds like we're dealing with stuff from another realm, which is sort of beyond my area, Titanica is going to go outside and start basically esoterically trying to contact any creatures she can think of that she knows she might be able to get a hold of. So it's a matter of like digging a hole and whispering into it to try to get to dwarves, throwing a bunch of water in front of a light to try to get Heimdall's attention, maybe just picking up the phone and seeing if Albus actually picks up. Like anybody that you might be able to get a hold of in whatever way that you can, making calls.
I'm having Gravity Falls flashbacks right now.
You do some of your esoteric work, but then you feel something and a memory stirs. You were given a card for a very interesting tailor. And you dial the number. And even though it's like almost midnight, someone picks up. Odenfell's tailors, how may we help you?
Well, you know, this is going to sound strange, but I had the strange suspicion that I should call this number when I'm trying to figure out how to get to a different realm.
Oh, it sounds like you need a fitting. Yes. When would you like to schedule your fitting?
well, sooner the better, I guess.
Rush jobs cost extra, but we do have an opening for 1 a.m.
I'm free.
Excellent. Feel free to come on by. Uh, just follow these instructions. Like, you just get a text. These are not the kind of directions one is accustomed to. It says to find a brick wall, take some chalk, draw a door, make sure to put a handle on the door. Knock 3 times, turn around 3 times, spit over your left shoulder, and then open the door. Well, see you at 1.
Thanks.
And click. Overdrive, I'm interested to know what's going on with you, how you're handling all this weirdness, this strangeness.
Yeah, this is definitely like out of Overdrive, out of her depth. So she starts off sort of lingering around Jet and the books and things, and then after she's noticed, I think Titanica has gone for a while, she'll go out to check on her. Maybe notice that she's, covered in some dirt, and be like, are you okay? What have you been doing?
Folk magic, and then making an appointment for a tailor at 1 in the morning.
Okay, that's gonna need more explanation.
Well, to be fair, it seems to be like a very special tailor. Magic stuff.
Magic stuff. Okay. I got it, in that I don't get it, but that's fine. What does the magic tailor do? Give us clothes that will fly?
I don't know, but I had a gut feeling that I should call them, so it seemed like a good idea, so I did it.
Okay, and now you have an appointment at 1 a.m.
Yes.
I mean, I know you can handle yourself, but do you mind if I chaperone you? Because it's a little shifty.
I think that should be fine, assuming that the magic door lets other people in. Which we'll find out.
Yeah, I guess so. Magic door. Okay. No, this is fine. This is fine. Yeah. Shall we bring the others?
I mean, we should probably at least tell them. They can come along if they want to, but they probably wouldn't be super great with 2 more people spontaneously disappearing mysteriously. Not great for morale.
Yeah, that seems fair. Yeah, okay. And then after like more blinking, Overdrive just like turns 180 and heads back into the house, and it's just like, Jet, we're going to a magic tailor's, and are we gonna die if we do that? Just like yelling through the house.
Not unless they decide to kill you.
We'll be fine then.
That's pro advice. I don't know what to tell you.
How is your book coming along? It, gotta tell you, it looks a little creepy.
Most things with this type of power do. There's... I guess I'll ask you, do you want the bad news or the worst news? Neither is also an option.
It's tempting. Start with the worst news. And then at least you've got an upward climb.
The worst news is all of these things in this book probably exist and might be in this city right now.
Okay. This bad news better be good.
The bad news is we still have an entire city to search before we find Lawin.
He's in some kind of other nightmare land?
I think...
Or still in the city?
Yes. It might be something where realms are intersecting. It's my best guess. We won't know until we find it exactly how it works. And even then, we might still not know exactly how it works.
I get it. It's happened before. It's how I got here. Could we do the same thing again?
I don't... Yes,
I mean, it
but I
resulted
don't
in a
know
building
if we'd
being
have
exploited.
control over it. Sorry.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I mean, last time I guess it did end up in a building being pretty much exploded, so...
As this discussion happens, a black cat, because of course there's one, jumps up onto the counter and just, as the discussion's happening, just curls up on the book. It fits, it sits.
I was reading that.
Phaedra doesn't care as Martin sits down a tray with a bunch of coffee mugs. Definitely going to want to drink up if you're planning on going and retrieving him. You need to stay awake. And then he just sort of like rubs his thumbs together, and the cat gets up and just comes over for scritchies. Who's a good little hellspawn? Yes, you are. As just scritches the cat, absolutely affectionate. We see the distinctive bubble of purr.
What did we get to? What Bastian
What has
was up to?
Mr. Universe?
Sure we did.
Yeah, no, we didn't, but we're going to now. So, Bastian, what have you been up to in this time?
So this is all touching on a space that he has little to no interaction with whatsoever, and under that auspice, he's legitimately been camped around a comms room, trying to make a new door into leveraging the physics that he's learned in terms of like multiverse, quantum universes, and trying to pull together the power to create a new door.
So wait, this is back at the headquarters you're doing this?
You've
flown
back to the headquarters.
Yes.
Okay.
That is where he is at. That is where he is at.
Okay. So you're trying
He's desperate to find
to.
Lawin.
Are you trying to look for answers, or are you trying to brute force your way through the? Are you trying to Kool-Aid mad the cosmos? Is essentially what I'm trying to say.
Yes. Yes. Because that is the bad
Oh
decision.
yeah. Oh no.
Can we
Okay,
clip that?
Trying to will
Audience,
quantum
can we clip
entanglement.
Kool-Aid Man the Cosmos? Put it on a shirt.
Yeah, we just.
Yeah.
In our comic book universe, that is definitely Kool-Aid Man. The Cosmos is one of Mystery Universe's like merchandise. That's definitely on a shirt, and it most certainly on a mug.
Now, I would like to point out for just to connect to the to where we were at, right? As everything was going on, whoever was around, Bastian was getting more and more just sort of nervous and agitated, and eventually was like, "I'll be back."
Yeah, you fly out. You've gotten to the comms room, and all those numbers that you have been crunching, all of your experience for this year of being together, and you are trying to pull on forces that you don't really know of, let alone fully control. So, there's a number of options we have here. You can just try and brute force this. You can spend a hero point and just try and rip a hole in reality. Or you can, you know, try and just reach out, get that resonance. I can say you can get a resonance just by using your powers, but that's a slower path. What would you like to do?
Bastion has not been sleeping well, clearly, and the sight of the Waxman has made him terrified, and he is concerned for the person he's fairly convinced doesn't like him at all. But aside from Jet, the only one that really understands what they're doing, and so with that, he is going to, as was noted before, Kool-Aid Man the crap out of this.
Okay.
Because
So,
science means little here.
Science means little here. That feels like an issue title. Let's put a pin in that. And we'll take that hero point. That's 2 down, folks. 2 to go. So you take that, and you pull. You pull in a way that you haven't pulled before. We have this beautiful panel of Bastian B in this door frame, eyes aglow, as we see reality start to fray around this door frame. To see how this goes, just roll me a d20.
Okay.
We play to tell the story, and the dice help tell the story.
This is how you get hero points back, though. Just have bad stuff happen and lean into it. It's perfect.
I'm good. I'm good with this. I'm okay with this. I can do this.
So that wasn't. So for our listeners, not necessarily our viewers, for our listeners, that was a natural one on a D20 roll. Trying to
This was, in fact,
muck
the best decision.
with the forces of the fabric of reality in a sleep-deprived state, having made a bargain with Faye, and trying to get to a place that the others have been informed you can only get to while sleep-deprived, and you should never ever go there. Bastian B. Bucks tries. So, this is a phrase I use very rarely, except in very specific circumstances, but I'm going to utter it now. Mr. Smith, one storyteller to another, I want you to tell me how this goes wrong, and I will tell you how it gets worse.
All right. I got this. Bastian arrives at the headquarters. His hair is a bit more frantic than it was as he throws the hat off and runs his hands through his hair as he stares at the doorway that he saw his compatriot go through. Sick and tired and frustrated with the magic and the fae, knowing that he has access to something that he doesn't quite understand but is not that. He walks to the doorway and just sort of traces his hands around it. His eyes go to that pupilless white as the area around him begins to sort of become to discorporate and become wispy as it was before, as he pulls at the energies of the universe, feeling the atoms and the molecules and the energy stored within each of those, feeling the shifts in where physics stops working and this concept of magic might be teased at. He grabs at the air in front of the door and pulls at the reality itself. It's rippling around his fingers, almost as if they're small sort of black holes in and of themselves, pulling at the light and fabric of the world around him. But then his finger tears through as if it's a piece of paper. And in that moment where he feels some measure of success, that he's got some access to something else, it closes around his hand and begins to pull at him. That image of him as he walked out of Epic, as his body began to sort of separate from this existence, now it seems to be happening again. As 1 year ago when the beam had struck his body, allowing him to access these forces that no one could really understand, the universe wants its power back, and it begins to pull at Bastian, calling for him to return to where he belongs. And Bastian, realizing this void that he's been floating in forever, for the last year, he begins to cry out, scared. And he pulling at his arm as it's here and not here. He can feel it and it doesn't exist. And that's where I'll pass it to you, editor. What happens next?
With that description, and a boon ode, a hand reaches through the door. A hand our good readers that we know from a different line of comics. There's a very distinctive pewter skull on the ring finger that grabs hold of Mr. Mr. Universe's discorporating form and pulls through. And we see a very familiar sight if you follow different live comics. There's a fireplace. A well-appointed Victorian-style mantle littered with clocks. A stuffed bear in the corner. And dressed in a three-piece suit is the good-looking figure of the Hell Warden. Well, knew something was going wrong, but couldn't let that entirely go. Don't know your name, but welcome to the House of Secrets.
Just random question. Is Bastian whole? That is the first thing he looks at.
Yeah, you are in one piece. In fact, you are more like how you are when you're in Millennium.
He crumples to the ground and starts crying. Just holding on to himself as much as anything else that's around him. I don't know who you are, but thank you. Thank you.
Name's Arthur Addison. Get up. I see we have someone who didn't intend to end up on my doorstep.
That is... I don't know what doorstep this is, but you are probably right. I'm Bastian. He's breathing heavy. There's tears still on his face. Yeah, he's not in the best of shape.
He guides you to a chair and then walks away. Comes back with a small plate and a fork. Greetings, Raiders. Welcome to Paradise City Stories, Mutants Masterminds actual play. We just ended up in the House of Secrets. There's all sorts of crossover happening here, and we're here for it. As a hero known as the Hell Warden comes with a piece of chocolate cake, a fork, and a glass of orange juice, and sets it to Mr. Universe. And then sits down and, with vibrant green eyes, takes a good hard look at Bastian. You're not from my normal stomping grounds.
I'm gonna go with no. Thanks for the cake. Does that orange juice have some... Never mind. It's fine. I'll just take it. Bastian's now getting a lay of the land, like looking around the place, taking note of the oddities. First of all, Mr. Arthur, your suit is impeccable. I appreciate a good tailor. Thank you for the cake. Where am I?
You are in the sitting room of the House of Secrets.
House of Secrets. Is that... A.
It's a place where realities meet. One of 3 that can be known. And where things go to disappear.
Right? I have a lot of questions about what you just said. 3 that can be known. That implies that there are others that shouldn't or can't be. That's a little nerve-wracking. This is where things go to disappear. I'm okay with that right now. It feels very comfortable here. Yeah, thank you for the cake.
Yes. But now I am concerned about how A, you ended up on my doorstep. B, how to get you back.
Well, so I was trying to find something called a place where the Wax King is, and there's a lot of like weird magic things going on, and I felt kind of helpless, which has actually kind of been a thing for a while now. At any rate, I thought maybe I could do something, and I tried, and as per the norm, it didn't work, and I'm here.
You remind me of another me.
I'm so sorry.
That's why you ended up here. Could be worse. Could have, done something foolhardy, heroic, and left your entire team to become Death's taxi driver. And walks off.
See, I do have people back trying to solve something, and I said I'd be back, and I'm not really sure how to get back now, because I don't want to do what I just did again, because that was scary.
Calling upon the primordial forces of reality. Yeah, that should frighten you.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Well, unfortunately, the white pages aren't going to tell me how to get you back, but let's see if I have a few tricks. I might be able to identify just where I should deposit you.
That's fair.
And comes back with a red ruby pendant on a strip of leather. And then just swings it back and forth in front of you. Okay. So, what door are we going through to get you back? And then
Bastian's
the pendulum
tracking it
just
like
hangs.
he's trying to be hypnotized.
It just hangs in the air, off center. Of course you're involved. Why wouldn't you be? Fine. Just snatches and pulls it from the air, begins to hang limp again. Okay, this is one of your projects. Fine.
Excuse me,
Well,
who are you talking to?
a few individuals.
Oh, that's pleasant.
One you don't need to concern yourself about. Another one, I am certain she will make your acquaintance soon enough.
Yay.
But with that being the case, and I'm feeling kind of spiteful today, goes over, grabs the poker from the fireplace, just hands it to you. Keep that handy. If she gets too familiar, you can just brandish it and that should push her back for a bit.
She? Who's she?
Goes by many names. Oh, are you a she right now? I don't know.
Oh, this is awkward.
My mentor's ex.
So many questions.
Julian, you always had strange taste. Anyway. No. We are going to want to go through that one. As he points in the direction upstairs towards a hallway. Come on, follow me. We should get you back to your friends.
Following. He'll take a quick drink of the orange juice.
And we see these beautiful panels of them walking through the House of Secrets, where there are numerous doors. Some hang open, some are shut. In a few of the ones that we see open, we see little MacGuffins, things that have gone missing from comics past, like a puzzle box of notorious fame, a magnifying glass, hockey mask that has a chunk missing out of it, as well as other things that's just labeled Smurf remains and things of that nature. As they finally get to a rather modern looking door that has a red exit sign over it. Now, this is the door you need to use. Won't be pleasant. But eventually, you should get back to your friends. I don't know if she's going to try and intercept you, or if she just has eyes for someone near you. But
We've got
until we do it, don't we?
an iron, so I should be all right, right?
Yes. Don't lose that. As he opens the door,
just holds it tighter.
There is just a black void. And just holds the door open and gestures. Head on through.
Oh, that looks too familiar. This is it, huh? This is the only way? Just,
It's either that or try and take you before the Fae Court and see if Mabs are having a good day.
He walks through.
And works every time. All I have to do is say grandmother's name and they just do things. Closes the door. And we turn the page and we just see Mr. Universe far more maintaining this more mundane look as a kaleidoscope of realities is just in the background while he's at the foreground. Myriad visions of all sorts of dimensions. Some things that look like the Elysian Fields, others different levels of hell. To, classic children's tales. Was that a legally distinct Mickey Mouse? We don't know. And all of a sudden, the back door to the antiquarian bookstore, the emergency exit, opens. And Mr. Universe walks through. Welcome, Raiders. We are playing Paradise City Stories, a Mutants Masterminds actual play. Glad to have you with us. Someone just went on a random trip through the House of Secrets because they tried to bust a hole through reality. But now they're back, and our team is back together.
The technical term is Kool-Aid Man the Cosmos. Thank you very much.
Yes, the technical term. As Martin just looks up from petting Phaedra, the cat, and nearly spits his coffee as Mr. Universe returns.
Hi.
I thought you were going back to the HQ.
I did. Never let me do that again.
Go back to HQ?
Just on my own.
Can Jet insight check John Martin's, like wide-eye glance at that? Because he's pretty much no-sold to everything at this point.
Yeah, he has very much no assault, so by all means, if you want to insight check, by all, go for it.
Yeah, there we go. Now we're cooking with oil.
Okay. Magic might be a problem, but reading people is Jet's forte. But then again, Jet is an avid reader.
True.
And so, yeah, like he is a difficult person to read, but in this moment of emotion, yeah, that is a mixture of surprise, terror, and questioning reality. Just those three emotional beats distinctly happening before the swallowing of coffee and that calmer face resumes.
What? You did not see that one coming?
You are all meddling with forces far beyond your ken.
Speaking of that, though, there was a time when nobody but John Martin, Phaedra, and, to Jet's knowledge, Jet were in the bookstore, correct? Because two people were outside with the Taylor thing.
Yep.
Yep. Cool. So it's gonna stop looking if we can rewind the clock a little bit to that moment.
Sometimes to go forward, we have to go back. And so, moments beforehand.
A couple of panels before. Jet's going to look up and look at John Martin and say, with everybody else gone, it's just like, because did I get a name for like the Chaos books that need to be protected? I don't remember. I don't know if I got a name.
You did not get specific names of books that you needed to protect. The book names of books that you have 4. 2 were ones that specifically Lawin remembered being part of Martin's collection that he used as part of getting an audience for the next heist that's supposed to occur, which was Tobin's Spirit Guide and Unspeakable Cults. Names that Barbara Sterling gave Titanica that you didn't discuss with Martin over brunch were Treatises on Sky, Earth, Seas, and the Old Ways by Dr. John D. and Shadows, Fire, and Blood, A Means to an End by Rafael Corazon.
So not those, but the ones where, what was the name of the hero who was she brought us into a dimension briefly. What was her name? Oh, I have notes. I can't find it.
That was Nightingale.
Nightingale, yeah. So Nightingale, because it was mentioning, I thought Nightingale also mentioned books, or was she just more generic about like Chaos Nexus, so on and so forth?
She referred to a number of books that held importance, but don't necessarily need to be protected. There was like a high school yearbook, as well as a series of genealogies for metahumans, a genealogical record, books of those natures that allow chaos a tether to reality, but not specific ones that really need to be protected. Again, there's, by what was inferred with Sterling, is that in all likelihood, each of those wreckers had the names of at least one book that needed to be purloined. There were a lot of them.
Gotcha. In that case, Jet will simply say, how do I contact Elizixtris?
Elizixtris, she's very particular about pronunciation.
Elizixtris.
Why do you want to get your hands on the Emperor of Concubuses?
Because if I'm going to deal with her, I'd at least like to have some control of when our next meeting is. I keep getting flashes. And the Wax King having an anchor here may be my fault. I can't recall the conversation fully.
Somebody's trying to break things. This is where I keep my stuff. I don't appreciate it. Liz will try and fuck you. I mean that both figuratively and half the time literally. But if you want to contact them, it's not hard. Simple blood sacrifice during the witching hour is enough to at least get in touch. It's whether if you want to bargain, that you need far more firepower.
I don't know how to fix this. And I'm seeing if the whole two wrongs make a right thing works.
Stranger things have happened. And he walks away for a second. Comes back with a smaller tome. Looks like an old moleskin notebook, likely from the 20s. There's a few rituals in there that allow you to summon an avatar of Liz's to bargain. Just be aware that the price is going to be steep. It is always.
I know. if this is my fault, then
Concert.
it's my job to pay it.
There's just a long sigh as he walks back to petting the cat. And I think with a picture of Jet holding open this moleskin notebook and getting an image that has a series of runes, a language Jet knows very well, drawn up in a pattern of triangles, with the central one being Elizatrix's symbol. That's where we're going to take a break, folks. So get up, relax, grab a snack, and we'll be back here to wrap up issue 303 in 15 minutes. Catch you later. Hey, folks, and welcome back to Paradise City Stories, Mutants and Masterminds actual play here on Weave the Tale. Where we last left our heroes, they were in the antiquarian bookstore owned by the former despoiler, John Martin. There had been a number of exits, entrances, discussions about what to do to find their friend Lawin, who is in the clutches of the Wax King. Everyone is back together at the bookshop. What you all doing?
Bastion is holding on to his new iron poker, fire poker thing. He's holding on to it like it is the only thing keeping him alive for the first 5, maybe 10 minutes. As he begins to calm down, he starts to lean on it as a walking stick kind of thing. Other than that, he's staying completely silent.
Completely silent?
Yes.
Now Jet's concerned. I imagine the first couple minutes is just sweet bliss, and it's just no, something's wrong. And Jet will go over. Bastion?
Yes.
Can I assist you in some way?
No. No. Why? Did I do something wrong?
No. Then honestly, that's kind of the problem. What's wrong?
He kind of looks around the room. Well, nothing now. Except, for Lawin not being here. That's kind of wrong.
Something else happened. What was it?
Oh, well, I tried to open a door to another dimension, and it didn't work. So, there's that.
Are you sure it didn't work, or didn't work as you planned?
Oh, no, it did not work. Did not work. At all.
Inside check.
He's not lying.
Go ahead.
He's being very open about this.
Yeah, still pretty good.
24. Jet reads. Jet reads, folks.
People are easy.
Magic's hard.
Yeah, apparently.
So,
the thing she's
actually pretty legit.
supposed to do.
So Mr. Smith, that was a solid read. Please tell us what Jet's able to perceive.
Well, he is not necessarily trying to hide anything particular. He's clearly not just describing the whole thing. You can tell by the way his eyes are kind of darting around. It might be present company that's causing that, versus any sort of desire to keep it from her. However, what she can absolutely tell is whatever's going on with him, the grip he has on that iron poker, you're fairly certain it could not be pried from his cold dead hands.
Got it. Reading that situation, so Jet'll sort of narrow eyes a little bit at you, look over to John. John, is there a room here that we can sit in privately?
Sure, I can head to the storeroom.
Thank you.
It's just over that
And
way.
sort of, Jet'll very slowly reach out to touch Bastion's shoulder, making sure like you have all the time in the world to avoid it if you do not wish to be
No, he
touched right
doesn't.
now. Okay,
No, he's fine.
okay, so like gently taking Bastion's shoulder and guiding him to the storefront. What was it?
I really feel like I'm in trouble.
Storeroom.
Storeroom. There we go. You're not in trouble. That being said, when we get to the storeroom, even if it's like sitting on some sort of boxes or whatever, so they're level. All right, Bastion, it's just you and me. You want to tell me what happened? You're not in trouble.
I attempted to open a door to another place, and I started to not be me. Very fundamentally speaking, as in not that I was, losing my mind or anything of that sort. No, I was going to stop existing.
On an atomic
I'm pretty
level?
certain. I'm just going to call it in any significant sense of what it means to exist. I was not going to anymore.
Oh, Bastion.
And then I wound up in this very lovely home. And I just, for some reason, the thing that really sticks out to me about this home, actually, it's sort of three things. One, there was a stuffed teddy bear, I think. Very weird. I don't have much description beyond that. A gentleman by the name of Arthur brought me a cake, which was really good, actually, and a glass of orange juice, some of the freshest I've ever had. He was impeccably dressed. I really appreciated that. But he gave me this poker, and he said that if she, I didn't really know who she is or was or will be, ever got too close, I should use it, and she would go away. So he pointed me to a door. There was nothing really through the door. It was just kind of, if you can imagine what nothing's like, legitimately nothing. It's hard to describe. At any rate, I walked through, and then I came here. Yeah. So yeah, I attempted to open the door to another dimension, and it did not work at all.
Okay. Jed'll look and is it all right if I hug you, Bastion?
Oh yeah, of course.
All right, come here. Jed'll,
Thanks.
like envelop it. It's coming from Jet, so it's still an awkward hug, but it's a hug. And do like the awkward
he hugs back. You're really not good at this part, are you?
No, I'm not. But I am glad you are made it safely back.
Oh, thanks. That's really all you had to say. I'll be okay. I'm just gonna let you do what you do, and I'm not gonna get into your business anymore.
It's okay if you're not okay, Bastion. This is supposedly my area of expertise, and I am also having trouble navigating it.
Oh, well, if you're talking about in terms of nearly being discorporated into non-existence, no, I am not okay with that. But I'm compartmentalizing, so I'm just going to stand here with my very trusty iron poker until we figure out where Lawin is. And then when we come back from that and this whole Wax King thing is over with, I'm going to go find a corner and I'm going to cry a lot. And then if you feel like practicing your hugging technique, we can do that.
You can cry some now if you want. I will.
Oh, no, I did that back in front of Arthur. I appreciate it. I cried in front of Arthur. That was a little awkward, but we're okay right now.
Sure?
Yeah.
Okay. I am here if you need me. If I didn't care about you, considering how much you annoy me, I would have left you long ago.
I am well aware of that, now more than ever, and I can assure you, I appreciate all the knowledge and things that you do about 1,000 times more than I did. I'm gonna be okay for now, and when Lawin is back, we can I'll practice my not bugging you and just being terrified for a bit, and then you can practice your hugging.
Bastion, I want you to be yourself. Okay?
Oh, that's fair. Yeah, that's fine.
Maybe you like this. Don't take this as a stop being who you are. That's not the point. And if you did,
Oh,
they win. And no, not acceptable.
okay.
Alright?
I see what you're getting at. No, I get that. I need you. There's one thing I should probably express. So the things that I think I can do um, are fundamentally terrifying to me because I don't know how they work, like at all. And so Overdrive's been, helping me kind of understand some of the nuances a little bit. And it comes off a lot like magic because, like, yeah, it just does, but it's not. And I recognize that now more than ever. And so I just kind of need to wrap my brain around uh, what I'm able to do. And right now, a lot of it's just focusing on making sure my body stays here because it's always wanting to go someplace else. And that makes me extremely uncomfortable. So I'm just going to focus on being me. And by that, I just mean existing. So yeah. But again,
Oh.
I appreciate you and I appreciate what you're doing here. I truly, honestly do. You're a fantastic leader for our little group. I need you to continue doing that because that's just going to be my focal point right now. So do me a solid, go back out and talk to the Martin guy and figure out where in the flying hell Lawin decided to, F off to so we can go find him. And then you can yell at him for being dumb and going away.
Alright, Bastion. I can be the solid rock in the storm for you, alright? And I know you're
Yep.
going to get through this. You know how I know that?
Will, because I'm a tenacious bastard.
I was not going to swear, but sure, the sentiment is agreed.
Good on you.
But because the thing I didn't understand for a long time was magic. It's all in practice. That shoulder goes out.
Bastion will follow shortly after.
All right. It's when you look at the clock.
Hey, Fuzzy Freaks, thanks.
Near Phaedra. Hey, folks, welcome on in. We're playing Paradise City Stories, Mutants, and Masterminds actual play. Glad to have you. You see the clock is 15 after midnight. You got 45 minutes to. Well, Titanica has 45 minutes to get to Taylor's appointment. A rush job. So you guys have a little bit of time before all sorts of stuff I think will happen. What do you all want to do?
You know what Jet wants to do? Because,
What?
because Bastion still just kind of wants to be themselves. Jet, because Jet doesn't have a lot of interest in going into the Taylor appointment. Jet wants to take Bastion, whoever else wants to go to Denny's. Or our equivalent of that.
No, it's Denny's. Because you just
Okay.
end up there. It doesn't matter what dimension, you end up at Denny's. Cosmological constant, folks. So we will have this.
Sponsor us.
Yes, because you just end up there. So we'll have this wonderful sort of like Nighthawks sort of picture with Mr. Universe and Jet at Denny's. Overdrive, are you there with them, or are you going to the tailor?
I am gonna go, and if she will have me, I will go with Titanica to make sure she's not walking into something
Okay.
terrible.
Sure, I could stand
Now,
some backup.
Titanica, I have a question for you. You have the directions to get to your appointment. Where do you perform this ritual?
I imagine I'm just gonna find
storeroom.
wherever the nearest brick wall is.
That is just outside in the alley of
Then that's
this
where.
place.
Shady alley to a shady tailor's. Perfect.
I love and hate this. So
Would you say this location was tailor-made for this?
Oof.
this hurts me. So the ritual is performed. And much like the ode that it is, along the mortar of the brick wall, this toothed door opens, green light spilling out as the two of you walk in. And all of a sudden, you are in a tailor's shop. Little bell rings, and a short, stout woman. Oh, come in. You're just in time for your appointment. Oh, there's two of you. Okay, we can do both. So first things first, what affair is this for?
Well, I suppose technically I have a meeting with some royalty that might involve negotiation.
Okay, so I'm getting by tone that this is an awkward negotiation. Okay, we can work with that. Any more details as to audience, locale?
I think I'm probably gonna have to have a word with the Wax King in the Mad City. If that helps.
Okay, so we need something that is hydrophobic. Got you. Okay. And something that you can move in. Okay. Just writing down on this pad, like all these little details. Unfazed by your appearance and size, both of you. So it's definitely designed to move. Are you currently sleep deprived?
No, I sleep really.
Okay.
Overdrive, you? I sleep quite well.
There will be a fairly long pause where Overdrive looks like she's gonna regret what she's saying and say, I mean, I've not slept well in a year.
Oh, good to know. All right. And then she walks away, comes back, a young fellow with a green complexion, very lanky, comes back with her and starts getting your guys' measurements. As the short, stout woman just comes by with a number of fabric swatches and is just like holding them up to you and this bright light. Just going, okay. And just scribbling notes as you guys get fitted. Um, okay, so this is already a rush. Do you want express service or do you want to come back for pickup? Would you like delivery?
I mean, we probably need some prep time with the others, so I imagine I can come back and pick it up, but you know, one of our friends might be being tortured in another dimension, so like maybe not like too long of a wait.
Okay, so say morning?
I think morning's fair.
Okay. We can definitely do morning. Um, no fabric allergies, either of you?
No, don't think so.
Okay, hang on a second. I, I am not the bad one here. What is going on? I assume when they came over, by the way, like Overdrive is almost like, oh no, I'm fine. I'm just here to assist, and then just doesn't really get the choice. um,
Yeah.
so she's resigned herself to the measuring, but it's like looking between everyone. What? I'm a little lost. And maybe just someone plainly. Are we getting clothes? I thought we were. What are we doing?
Yes, you're getting close for your affair that will for the negotiations with the Wax King.
And like, I mean, I was joking when I said we were gonna get clothes that let us fly to, some other dimension. Is that actually what's happening?
Well, flying is you can't really do that in a rush job, and also flying in the Mad City is just a poor life choice. Ours are more for lubricating the transition between places. Also, we pride ourselves on making certain that the customers that want to continue their existence for as long as they are wearing the garment. Um, so, yeah, we reinforce these things, also make certain that they're comfortable and, appealing to the eye, suit the wearer, etc., etc.
Okay. Sure. Okay. This reality gets just weirder and weirder every day. But I've seen weird things.
You know,
This makes perfect sense.
sometimes when it comes to magic stuff, it's easier just to go with it, because if you think about it too much, it starts to hurt.
The
Yeah.
the not the little stout woman, but the lanky green fellow just nods emphatically. Um,
I'm starting to get that. Okay. Um, what about I feel like the other two need to be able to come with us though, right?
as long as they're sleep deprived, they should be fine.
Okay. They don't need, magic clothes.
Well, never hurts, but again, timing of the thing.
Okay. I'm getting it. I'm getting it. Um, there's like the half of her that is cybernetic just flashes though, like quickly, and she's like, the only thing is, um, and she's gonna lean over to Titanica and kind of whisper a little bit. I don't really have any money. This...
I suspect we won't be paying with money, but if we do, I can probably cover you.
Okay. Okay.
My family hates me, but they're like super loaded.
That is good to know.
All right. That's all that we need from you for now. Thank you all so much. We'll see you in the morning.
See you in the morning.
Yes.
And you walk out the way you came in, but it's not through the same door. That's going to be a theme, and it's not necessarily all the most pleasant. But you end up walking out of, and strangely, it's the same broom closet back at Epic that you guys walk out of.
Yeah, that's useful.
I don't
I
know. The
wonder if the
fact
other
that it's
guys.
the same door really bothers me. There's some implications there that are not comforting to think about it, so I won't.
I've decided to join you in that way of going about things. Although, before I start not thinking, the one thing I can't get out of my head, you know, this nightmare realm. Do you think it's like nightmares in general, or it's not gonna have my nightmares in it, is it?
I mean, I imagine it has everybody's nightmares if it's a nightmare realm. It's kind of the whole deal. I mean, assuming unless there's like different kinds of nightmares, like there might be actual just like normal subconscious nightmares as opposed to like magical nightmares, but that's kind of a strange thought. Maybe both. I don't know. Maybe there's some sort of
Hmm.
dream tulpa that like latches on to nightmares in your brain and then feeds off those, and then maybe that's its permanent form, or maybe it changes forms. I don't I don't know. I'm gonna be honest. I only know a very little bit about magic. Magic shit just kind of happens around me, and I go with it. Because I don't do magic, but it happens.
Okay. I will have to follow your lead on this one then. And I think not thinking about it, that seems like the best thing to me. So let's do that.
All right. From that, we actually, while this entire conversation was happening, because we have this established layout of the epic, there was a very particular TV on in the background. And the entire time this conversation was going, just low enough to where they couldn't hear. But you, dear reader, well, you see all the text. And this was going on in the background. A talent hunt for Silas Meisner's Carnival of Dreams playing on in the background. Looking for just cutting edge, aware talents. Those who are willing to experiment and push beyond normal limits, open to strange and new ideas. Please come down to the Paradise City Civic Center, 9 p.m. tomorrow, for the open call. And that was playing on in the background of that conversation. And we have that same ad playing on a very similar TV at the local Denny's. As we check back in on Mr. Universe and Jet. What you guys having?
Okay, there's
Mr.
the
Universe
button.
will be having. Hey, Mr. Universe will be having a coffee and some pie.
Ooh, what kind of pie?
Apple. Actually, I should say he's having whipped cream with a little bit of apple pie.
I know the order well. Jet, what are you having?
Jet is again having some boiled eggs, also supplemented with some French toast as well. No syrup or sugar because she's not a child.
Okay, so
Her
this
viewpoint, not
this
mine. I
spread,
love me some French toast.
yes, we all stand some French toast here. Um, this body is built by French toast. So, no, you guys are having a quiet evening, aside from what looks to be a shadow cast from Rocky Horror that's off in a separate corner from the two of you, enjoying the after Rocky Denny's run, which is a long-standing tradition in Paradise City. But overall, it's a quiet night between the two of you. Nothing much to be overheard. But we have the same like odd angle as we saw before early in the comic, coming from alleyways, bushes, trees. We see the angle cut back to Horizon Labs, back to that same set of dark gloved figures that we saw a few issues prior. You would think those would belong to Nightingale and her duplicates, but no, we get a better look this time. Yes, that the gloves are dark, but there's little dabs of wax on them. And we see more and more different places throughout Paradise City where we have seen our heroes, like Paradise City College. We see the place where all that incident that brought the group together, those labs, they've been remodeled. The burning has been fixed. The explosion patched. But something comes out from closet doors. Something or someone. As dark figure walks up stairs in the college. And we finally cut to their face. But before we do, it looks like a police officer's uniform. But when we get to the face, it looks relatively normal, like a regular police officer, except for one startling detail. The eyes aren't eyes. They're clock faces. And hear a distinctive tick-tock emanating from this individual. They head towards a very specific door, and etched upon the glass is a name that long-time readers are familiar with. And that name is Dr. Danielle Rosenberg, lead researcher and friend to the team. As there's a knock on the door, we see inside Danielle get up, come to the door, open it. She lets out a shriek. And then we turn the page. Where is everyone sleeping tonight? Mr. Universe, you're up.
He'll be
Where you
somewhat nervously. He'll be staying in his room at the headquarters.
All right,
Well,
Titanica.
I mean, he'll try to sleep anyway.
Fair enough.
Titanica will also be sleeping at the headquarters, as per usual, not actually in a room, but just like curled up in her little nook in the communications room.
Overdrive, where are you sleeping?
As always, I will be in my little room at the HQ. Yeah.
Jet, where are you sleeping?
Jet sleeping at her place, not the HQ tonight.
Okay. So, for those in the HQ, it's very fitful, if you at all get sleep. It is not restful. As your mind stops and starts, you know, those sort of like nagging ideas that keep you awake at night, those intrusive thoughts, little bits from your past, hopes, dreams, nightmares, those self-doubts, those anxieties, that, you know, the random shit that just pops up at night. That haunts you this evening. Chet, you went home. Please describe your home.
Jet's home is sort of has a lot of warm colors in it, actually. So lots of browns and reds and some oranges. Counter kind of encounter to her general personality. There's rugs everywhere, nice soft things. In sort of the living area, there is a room that is strictly dedicated to books. It would have been a second bedroom. There's no bed, just books. Maybe a couch in case she falls asleep reading it. But yeah, it's sort of this is definitely like her private, like, you know, this is where she relaxes fully. There's no air here, so yeah. So it's just it's an inviting environment, very particular to her. You don't really see any family photos on the walls in particular, but there is one on what you assume is her working desk of her and her family. Just the one there. Otherwise, the walls are sort of filled with pictures of landscapes mostly. No sort of figures in them, just landscapes.
There were no figures in them. Were.
Yeah.
As we see one panel of these landscapes, It's a triptych. It's like 3 landscapes across, these empty, beautiful landscapes. And then just below, we begin to see figures entering these landscapes. They're far away. Then below that, start to get closer to take more shape. And then below that, they start hitting the midground, where we can see more of them. The first painting, a winter scene, calm, cool colors. There are 3 individuals. Looks like their faces are covered in wax with a wick atop their head that's lit, dressed in period high medieval garb, walking in single file up through the snow. Next picture over, the autumn scene. Very peaceful, tranquil, bright oranges and reds, beautiful sunset. And yet we see very similar 3 figures, same heads, but instead of just the garb, the tunics and the baggy pants, the boots. These are knights in full armor, same appearance. Then we get to the third picture. There's not 3 figures. There's just one. And they're not in the midground. This is a summer scene. There's lots of greens, beautiful, again, radiant sunset. But it is a feminine figure leaning against the tree in the foreground. It just smiles directly at the viewer, clawed hand just waving. And then the other hand just points away from the other pictures as we turn the page. And it leads to a very specific door in Jet's house. It's not the front door. Door to a closet. And then there's a noise. Something loud enough to wake Jet up. As there's a tapping sound at Jet's window. It's a raven. It looks like a raven, at least.
All right. Jet'll, sort of tossing on, like, kind of grabbing her belt of ink that's right by her bed, strapping that on, going over to the window. Does the raven have any sort of note attached to it or anything?
No. It's just its beak is pecking at the window.
Is it Morse code?
No. Do you turn the light on?
No.
It pecks. It pecks. It breaks through the glass.
Okay, we're shooting the raven. Nope. If she can, she's shooting it.
Go ahead and give me an attack.
All right. You are pecking at the wrong tree, buddy. 368. Not a good roll.
This thing is small, it's fast, and as it comes closer, barreling through the window, you hear the ticking sound. You can hear the clockwork and the whirring of gears of this thing that, from a distance, looked organic, but no. This is a clockwork, an amazing and terrible clockwork. And as it comes fully into frame, it's got a tiny little badge on its chest.
Can I tell if the badge says anything? Is it like a shape? Like, is it shaped like the Paradise PD badge or something? Or
It is shaped like the Paradise PD badge, but there's something distinctly wrong about it. Like, every city has a logo. Branding's important, folks. And for Paradise City, it is that very notable skyline. The buildings are different. The buildings are drastically different. The layout's wrong. All the buildings are far more pointed. There are no curves. It's just all sharp angles. And it doesn't have a name after officer. It just says officer.
and the bird hasn't tried to speak at all after it broke through and is flapping about.
No. It breaks through the window. It's flapping about, and it's now distinctly trying to hit you.
No, we're breaking it. I'm gonna keep shooting at it. No, we're not. We're not doing this. We're not.
Okay.
Try this one more time. That's
24.
better.
You shoot it. It falls to the ground. Just in time for a number of things to happen. First, a similar looking officer to the one that we saw at Paradise City College comes through the broken window. We see a mailed fist break through the bedroom door as one of these wax knights enters. And these two figures first both look like they're lunging at Jet, but then recognize that they're both there. And we get this very awkward Monster Mash kaiju fight, almost, in Jet's bedroom between these two figures. Jet, what are you doing?
So I'm gonna say what she does physically, but mentally, this is an honest thought from her. I'm not getting that deposit back. She's like seeing that they're like sort of fighting each other. Jet's going to switch to her defensive set and start booking it. Like, nope.
You book it. We see Jet stumbling down the hallway as we see more of these wax figures in Jet's house. As the front door gets kicked in by more of these clockwork officers come pouring in. And it is just this massive melee as Jet, you see that third picture of that clawed feminine figure pointing to the closet door. What do you do?
So I can't, like, they've already kicked in the front door, they broke the window, and it's just filling. I guess Jet will go for the closet door. Jet would, if you'll allow, Jet will make sure to have the moleskin notebook on her.
Yeah,
You'll allow that? Okay.
I will allow that. And you walk through the door. And that's where we're going to end it this week, folks.
Guggenheimen. All right.
That's where we're going to end it this week, folks. So, hey everybody, Pope here, Pope World Bill on Twitter, Pope World Bill on Twitch. I lurk in all your streams, and occasionally your streams. It has been an absolute delight to have you all here, but enough about me. Let's visit this amazing cast and find out where you can find these wonderful people. Um, First off, Sveth, where can we find you? What are you up to, friend? And
Hello.
give us a preview of Overdrive's next issue.
Ooh, yes. Okay. So I am Zweth. Find me on Twitter as Zwethra, as it says underneath me. I can't point because I have a cat. Find me just as Zweth here on Twitch on Sundays. I do crafts. Wednesdays gaming, and every other Thursday we do some TTRPG design stuff. So come check me out if that is your thing. If you want to see, I'm not currently any other shows, but if you want to catch up on some on Valdriant's channel, we've got a nice Emberwind game there, which is good fun. It's like very Final Fantasy-esque sort of vibes. And as for Overdrive's comics, I think we found out last time we're basically looking, this comic series is sort of her origin story. So the next issue is the front cover is of a place that readers of this comic would find familiar. It's Horizon Labs, but it's very slightly different. The logo looks a bit different, maybe kind of more 90s vibe. And just there's little bits that are off from what we've seen before in this reality. And in front, there is, it's all lit up in, it's very like neon-y blue and orange is sort of like the logo. And in the foreground, that is a dark car, and then somebody that is in all black with sort of a military rifle of some kind, holding the hand of a very small child.
Super intriguing. Definitely pick that one
Yeah.
up on newsstands, folks. Thank you,
Intrigue.
Sveth. Molly, where can folks find you?
Hi, I'm Molly. You can find me at Obvious Rebel M on Twitter. If you want to see more of my antics in Green Ronin products, you can check out the Adventure Game Engine Interest Series, or AGEIS podcast. They do a couple different actual plays, and I'm involved in the Trail of the Intruder. And in the next episode of Titanica, to go forward, we have to go back. And the cover is just a very rainy scene of a sort of like those difficult to place in time villages that happen in a lot of rural areas, and a large imposing figure in a rain slicker walking through a gate at the entrance to the town that says Oland, and then that's it.
Fantastic. Also fantastic is Mr. Smith. How are you doing, friend? Where can we find you? Muted, friend.
I'm not muted now. I can use words and technology. You can find me at Mr._Smith on the Twitterverse. You can also find me later on this evening over on our Penny for a Tale channel for our Pathfinder 2E Age of Ashes campaign, where I play Rune Ravenswood, the wizard of the team or of the adventuring group The Unforgotten. So please come and watch our shenaniganery as we make poor life choices, beat up our own feels, and generally be very dramatic. So yeah, come and watch that out. The next issue of Mr. Universe, it has a pair of lines on the cover that says, quoting Jettica Jones, I didn't know magic. It just took some practice. And the cover is Bastian out in a field, just a field as plain as can be, as he is just holding his hands out, causing there's rubble and large bits of debris and rock that are just sort of levitating around him as he is attempting to practice, given the terrifying events of this issue.
Excellent. Also excellent. Alicia, where can we find you?
Hey, I'm Alicia or NNG98 over on Twitter, where I tweet a bunch of stuff. I retweet when I'm in things. Also, sometimes there are snake pictures. You never know what exactly you're going to get with me, honestly. In terms of places you can find me on my channel. I stream Sunday nights, roughly in like maybe an hour and a half or so. I probably will be continuing Hollow Knight, and let's see if I can get gooder and beat the other ending of the game. I have one. Let's see if I can do the other one. Let's see. And then also, so not this Wednesday, but Wednesday after next, I will be guest starring over on not Penny Foretail. That's not the one I'm guest starring on. I'll be guest starring on RPG Hour. I'm places. Look, RPG Hour so again, not this Wednesday, but the next Wednesday, where I'll be playing a smoke-based creature who definitely is up to only good things. Tune in to find out how that concludes in their season finale. But yeah, sometimes it'll pop up in other places randomly. The best place again to catch me is on my Twitter at NNG98. My Twitch is Petty Energy, and that's basically me.
What's the next issue of Jet?
Right, the next issue of Jet. Jet is trapped in a never-ending mall. Mazes upon mazes. Will she be able to conquer the food court chaos and sideways the marauding mannequins, or will she end up window shop whinging? Tune in, read, pick up the next issue of Jet.
Fantastic. And as for me, I have been your editor, Pope World Bill on Twitter, Pope World Bill on Twitch. I lurk in all your streams. If you want to see more of this ridiculous face, you get a number of opportunities. Next up will be back around the horn here with these fine folks. And then following that evening, will be over on Matev 7's channel for the next issue of Masks Sunset City. And then a little bird told me that on the 20th, you might see me play the worst character, well, the second worst character I've ever been, as Sherlock returns in the spy game Hexcrawl over on Follow Black Cats. So if you want to keep up with me, check out the Twitter. I post where you can find me, as well as a bunch of you wonderful people in all of your fantastic projects. So definitely keep your eyes peeled on that. Also, checking in on Nino. He's enjoying his birthday weekend. And I know he's doing some things for some charities. So please, if you can, give him a follow. Help out if you're feeling like it. Wish him a happy birthday. And I want to thank all of you watching live, VOD, YouTube, wherever you are. The story is nothing without its audience. You're much part of this as we are. Thank you all so much. Have a wonderful week. See you next time.